There are three main hierarchical structures to goal setting: your massively transformative purpose, high hard goals, daily goals. Greetings, one and all. Welcome to the Beyond Fluency podcast. My name is Liam.
And I'm Rams, and today we have a great topic to share with you: goal setting for the year.
Goal setting, great subject. A difficult one to dissect as well. I think there are so many layers to this subject that it can be quite overwhelming, and it's difficult to know where to start. But that is exactly why we are here. We're going to lay it out for you between the two of us, give you some structure and some ways that you can track your progress so that you can really dig in and to your New Year's goals with your improving your language. So let's get cracking. I want to talk to you first, Ramps. I'm going to take the lead about the hierarchical structure of goal setting. 'Cause there's been a lot of research done on this subject, and it has been found that there are different types of goals, but you have to have some continuity between them in order for them to be effective and to keep you motivated in the long run. At the highest level of your goal setting, really you want to be thinking about something called an MTP. An MTP stands for massively transformative purpose. So this goes back to our previous video on motivation, where we talked a little bit about purpose, and it ties in with that. The reason why having a very clear, transformative, purpose-led goal is that is your North Star. That's the thing that directs everything that you're doing. We talked a little bit in the previous video about, learning English because you want to improve is not a strong enough purpose to keep you motivated. Learning English because you have a very definite idea of how you want to use it. You want to become a CEO, for example, of a multinational company. This is a very clear purpose. If you tie in with that you want to be the CEO of a multinational company who works sustainably, environmentally friendly, supports different minority groups, whatever that is, this is a massively transformative purpose, right? The idea is that you want to change the world. Okay, so that's the guide for everything else that comes after it.
I have a few questions, if I may. I've written a few of them down. So, firstly, the one I'd like to ask you is: can a big purpose, like the example that you gave, wanting to become a CEO of a multinational company, could it be a little bit overwhelming? Is it okay to have a purpose that is, for lack of a better word, a bit smaller as a purpose, or a little bit more attainable, easier to attain, shall we say? Would that be enough motivation to keep someone going? A clear purpose, but a much smaller, much smaller time, less time needed to attain the goal. An example would be, instead of wanting to be the CEO of a multinational company, wanting to be the head of sales within a department. Would that be enough motivation? Or does the purpose have to be something much larger than yourself?
The purpose is much larger than yourself. It is your lifetime ambition. It should be big. It should be dreamy in essence, because this is the highest point that you're aiming for. You may never reach it, but that is the ultimate goal, is to have an impact on your own life, the people around you, the world. It should be a big dream. Simply because the next layer down deals with high hard goals. And your high hard goals are things that could potentially take years to do, but they are the pieces of the puzzle that will help you achieve your MTP.
Please correct me again. What was the meaning of MTP?
Massively transformative purpose.
Okay. Now,
It's got to be big. It's massively transformative, right?
So, in the approach, say someone wants to go for that, the massive life transforming goal, could we maybe break it down into smaller goals, letting those smaller goals, titling them perhaps as milestones in order to build up to the big goal? Could it be just as effective?
You're you're way ahead of me, buddy. That's the next stage. It's a hierarchy. So at the top you have your MTP. This is the ultimate goal. Okay. Beneath that you have your high hard goals. These are the things that are are difficult, but they are the sub steps to achieve your MTP. Okay. And then from the high hard goals, you have clear goals, which are your daily steps to achieve your high hard goals. Your high hard goals are the building blocks to achieve your MTP. So you breaking it down into smaller pieces as you come down the hierarchy.
Thanks. And I stand corrected. Yes, you did mention that it is a hierarchy. So clearly it's building up to the summit of the goals. All right. So can we go then layer by layer? Would you like to start with the very first layer and then the second layer?
Okay, so the very first layer is are setting clear goals. These are your daily tasks, your daily to-do list that includes things that will help you start getting closer towards achieving the next level, which is your high hard goal.
So the very first step level, in other words, is something that I love a lot, and that's basically tracking. Habit tracking, goal tracking, call it what you want, but it's tracking your progress of what it is that you're doing on a daily basis. Now, when it comes to tracking, please, Liam, add if I'm missing something here in relation to EMT. But when it comes to goal tracking, what I like to do is separate my tracking into three separate categories. All right. Time, I track the time. So, how much time am I spending doing the activity? I typically start with a smaller time frame, 5 minutes, and then building it up. That could be on a monthly basis, weekly basis. So that's all up to you. The second category is activity. What is it that I'm going to be doing? Now, here, I believe that variation is the key. And when you track the time and the activity, you'll soon find out which are the things that you enjoy the most and which are the ones that you perhaps don't like so much, right? And the third and final category, I'm going to have to look at my note, is reflection. And this is very important part of the tracking process. Writing down on a daily basis what you're doing and how much time you're doing on those things is important. And at the end of the week, which is the reflection, you then look back at everything that you've learned on that week and how you have used language, whether it's spoken, written, or reading and listening. So, tracking for me, which is the very first layer that Liam spoke about, divide into those three categories. Time, what am I doing? How much time am I spending on something? Sorry. What am I doing? And in the end, what have I gained on a weekly basis? So I think that's a pretty easy one to do consistently. Remember, the secret there is to start with short amounts of time and things you actually like doing in relation to activity.
I agree, but at the same time, there are going to be things that you don't like doing, but you have to do to achieve your high hard goal. And if you're not achieving your high hard goals, you're not moving towards your MTP. Okay. So in a sense, I think with the clear goals, your daily tasks, there's a great book which is Eat That Frog, right? I think it's Malcolm Gladwell, yeah. So the idea behind that is that there are always going to be tasks on your to-do list that you look at and go, oh, groan, don't want to do that. Do those things first, okay? And I think with this idea of clear goals, you want to do the three most important things on your list, whether they're things that you enjoy or things that you don't enjoy. Either way, those are the three most important things for that day to move you forwards towards achieving your high hard goal. So So yes, and doing the things that you enjoy, doing the fun things, that's great. But is that really going to move you forward? Or do you need to eat the frog first and do the things that you don't enjoy so much in order to have that forward movement?
I think when it comes to this one, it'll definitely depend on the person and on person basis, right? The reason why I generally recommend my clients to start with the things that they like is to get them to start. And I see that as fuel just to get you going. Once you start to go to start building consistency with the things that you like, then I'm certain, certainly yes, start to add the things that you don't like. But of course, it depends on you. You know yourself best. Some of you will respond better to eating the frog, as Liam pointed out. Some of you will respond better to building momentum first, then adding the less pleasurable things to do, shall we say. So I believe both could work.
Maybe try a frog sandwich. Do something you like, then eat the frog, and then do something you like. Yeah.
That's it, right? The important thing,
There we go. You heard it here first. The frog sandwich.
we're coining that one, the frog sandwich, because it's important to get started. That's why I emphasize on the things that you like. It's important, and I think the frog sandwich might have actually solved this this one for us, right?
Yeah, I think as well, if you're doing one thing that you find difficult or you don't find endurable, if you're doing one thing like that per day that is still heading you to in the right direction towards your your goals, your purpose, whatever that is, in time, those things A become easier and B become less painful. So the sooner you get started with doing those things, the sooner they become easier, the sooner they become less like a chore, and they're no longer frogs. They turn into princesses or princes.
Yeah, right. We're speaking now using fairy tale metaphors.
Oh yeah, I watched far too much Disney. Uh, far too much Disney. Yeah. Well, there's three clear layers, but within each one, it depends what it is that you're trying to achieve as to how many layers there are, because for a particular high hard goal, there's going to be many steps. This is something that could take years to achieve in terms of the high hard goal. If you think of the high hard goal, we go back to you want to be a CEO of a company that works in environmental sustainability, but you you're still at school. The first high hard goal you need to achieve is to get a degree in environmental studies and then possibly a master's in business. So you've got, that's going to be a good 5 to 7 years worth of study. So within that, there's going to be other high hard goals. Now, each module is going to be its own goal. So, you breaking it down, you break it down, you break it down. And then on a daily basis, okay, today I need to read 5 pages in order to study for an exam that I have at the end of the year. So you can identify high hard goals within your high hard goal, and then you can have clear goals for daily tasks that you need to achieve those points until you get up to the major high hard goal, I suppose I would call it.
Yes. Yeah. Well, so if we're going to do a bit of a recap, because I'd like us to look at a little bit of the language of how far we've come so far. So if you could give us a quick recap, which will be closely followed by me explaining some of the language we used. How far so far? What have we looked at?
There are three main hierarchical structures to goal setting. At the top of the pyramid is your massively transformative purpose, your MTP. Okay. This is your uh, lifetime achievement. This is the thing that you want to contribute to the world as a person. Okay. Underneath that, you have high hard goals. These often take years, but they are the stepping stones to achieve your MTP, your massively transformative purpose. But in order to achieve your high hard goals, you have clear daily goals, a to-do list, a task list, whatever you like, in order to keep momentum going towards achieving your high hard goals, which is always leading towards the MTP. And all three are linked. And that's the thing is, doing the daily tasks is linked to the MTP, which is what is able to help maintain motivation for doing the difficult or the boring or challenging, whatever it is that you need to do on the daily basis. It's all linked to that sense of purpose. And therefore it is easier to persevere when things are difficult.
For those of you who love language, we're going to take a few minutes just to explain some of the expressions and words that we used. So, early on, Liam, right at the beginning, said, lay something out. To lay something out for someone has several meanings as a phrasal verb. In the context in which Liam used it, it means to explain something clearly and carefully. This is when Liam, I believe, was talking about the importance of having clear goals. The second one that he used was to dig into something. Now, I'm sure in several episodes you've heard us using similar phrasal verbs where we look, where the meaning is going deeper into something. To dig deeper into something, as it says, is to go deeper into a concept, an idea, to explore it in a more profound way. Then, just after that, Liam then said, "Let's get cracking." Let's get cracking basically means let's get started. And last but not least, the other one that he used was your North Star. Now, your North Star, another phrasal verb, or rather, it is an idiomatic expression. A North Star is your guiding light, whatever it is that you are using as the thing that helps you understand whether or not you're on the right route.
Yeah, it's from sailing. Back before they had GPS. Sailors used to use the stars to navigate, and there was one particular star that was brighter than others that you could only see in the northern hemisphere. So they used to, if they were heading north, they would follow that star. So it's the guide.
It was always an absolute pleasure to have a conversation with you. I hope that today's conversation will have helped all of you in setting clear goals for your language needs. If not for the next 5 years, at least for the first year, at least for this year.
Ramps, buddy, thank you so much. Good to see you. Uh, Look forward to having more of the same next time.